So Igor, what inspired you to come to Mexico?
We've lived in Costa Rica for 2 years and traveled in Central America. Overall kept coming back to this part of the world, Latin America. But we never did any programs here. And though we've been coming to the West Coast, to California, steadily for the last 6 years, we've never done any work in the countries where I feel this work needs to expand naturally. So one of the reasons of coming to Mexico is simply following that impulse to take this work also into other countries, so that this work also benefits those who would otherwise not able to join us in the United States or in any other parts of North America. There's a little story behind Mexico, of course. When I had a chat with great late Chakrapani Ulal, who is considered one of the fathers of Vedic astrology in the West, he asked me, as he was reading the chart in response to the work I do, he asked, "Do you go at all to Latin America?" And I said, "Well, actually, no." He paused and he nodded and he said, "I think you should really consider bringing this work to this part of the world, because A, it's in your chart, and B, this work is needed here." So it's kind of like he almost set or sown the seed in that direction. The rest was things that just fell into place. We found ourselves looking for new avenues and new venues, and Mexico was definitely number one choice. So this is how we came to Mexico. It's just that natural progression of taking this work to other places.
And you have been in the country now for 2 months, more or less. What is your appreciation of Mexico and its people?
You know, like, there are these stereotypes: Chinese man, Russian man, Italian. There is also this stereotype, Mexican. But I love when the stereotypes are broken, because these stereotypes, they're useless. They are one way or the other imposed anyway. What I am aware is that what an extraordinary rich this country and its people in terms of their spirit, connection to the land, to their shared history. And history is not straightforward. In a sense, it's not an easy one. It's the history of the conquest. It's the history of the missionary. It's the history of the extinguishing of an extraordinary civilization. It's a history of adaptation, of assimilation, of cross-pollination, where this Hispanic and Native American roots intermingle with the changes in the social structures, revolutions, and of course there are lots of great affinities that growing up somewhere back in the days when the country I was born was still part of the Soviet Union. Mexico has a shared history of socialism and revolution. I knew the painters of Mexico before I even knew exactly where it is on the map, and poets and writers. So there is this already some deep affinity running, and of course people here are so different in the sense of that melting pot of different cultures. But one thing is that perhaps that is felt strongly is that heart-based connection. Yes, of course, we all have our, we all are different, and I'm not saying that all Mexicans are the same, but what I'm saying is that our experience is of that warmth and immediacy, where language is not a problem. Our kids speak fluent Spanish. We are more of a Spanglish speaking people. So this is my experience. My experience is being humbled by this, whatever, if there was any iota of a stereotype, it's no longer there.
We find ourselves here in Buena Vibra, which is located in Tepoztlán, which is an important location, actually always has been for the local culture. How conducive was this particular environment for the work?
It was just bloody brilliant, all I could tell you. It's just damn right good, We've been treated like royalty, and you know it very well. These people just bend over to please you, and they do it in a graceful, in a very, very natural way. It doesn't feel at all contrived. It doesn't feel at all artificial. They just lay themselves because this is their nature. So all these notions of service, again, another stereotype is broken because it just feels this welcoming attitude. And I feel, comes natural to these people. I don't know whether they looked after very well by the management. I have no idea. But what I felt is that working here was perhaps the easiest in terms of the setup. There's no need for how are we gonna, it's just, we need this done. What about done? Great, you see, this is how the work is being done. So of course it's a beautiful place. Yeah, it's 5-star hotel, but the intention and the incentive to create spaces, to call it Buena Vibra, like good vibes, it goes without saying that there is something beneath this that comes from the right place. The attitude already is to make it aligned towards why we're here in the first place. It's an attitude of service and being of service. So naturally this work is being held in a most beautiful, organic, natural way. And the rest is paradise. We're gonna argue about it, like, who needs California? I'm saying. With that. Nothing wrong with other parts of the world, but I think we found an amazing location, and I'm looking forward to really explore possibilities, and we just need to find a way so that the more local people can benefit from this program. Our retreats, as you know, are international. People come from all over the place, and we even had a guy coming all the way from Australia. This is humbling. For 1 week. It's a long journey. But we do want people, natives, people who are born to this land, to experience this work. So we definitely, in this case, are going to come back and carry on this work. So maybe a word or two to the vibrations and how on an energetic level. And many different areas have different field. And of course you need to go so much deeper to transcend the more superficial layers. And it is through transcending these more superficial layers where Sometimes a lot is being encountered and when things being brought to the surface. You know, there are also a lot of places people go for so-called spiritual experiences because they're known for vortexes of energy. There's Sedona with its vortexes, there's Joshua Tree, right, in Palm Spring in California, Southern California, known for these vortexes of energy. In my experience, and I'm not sure if people really truly understand that the work that is done at this level doesn't require any of these vortexes of energy. In fact, sometimes it can be counterproductive. But the vibe, the prevalent vibe, is of tremendous importance. So some places are more conducive for this transformative work, obviously, from that point of view. In that respect, working here is very conducive. You know, there's something could be said, and yeah, of course, the place is shrouded in mystery, shrouded in, you know, has all these legends behind it, right? The Aztec and Mayan gods apparently were born here, and it's all legendary. And not to mention, this was a desert when the Magnificent Seven was shot with the backdrop of this amazing mountain. So it's nothing short of magnificent.
Well, from what I hear, it sounds like we're not just in Mexico here as following Wakefulness on a one-off trip. We might actually be in for a longer-term relationship with Buena Vibra in the whole environment, right?
Yeah, it's wakefulness on the move, like Maharishi used to say. It's wakefulness on the move. We don't settle on anything. We are on the move. So, though we are on the move and we're looking for new avenues and venues to explore this work, and when we've formed a beautiful relationship, why will we run away from it? We just had an amazing time here. Some people want to come back and live here. This was jokes of the tables. You know, hey, I'm going to sell my house and move down here. So this just plain obvious, you know, that the hospitality and the beauty of the place and the way it feels in every way is something to really to give it a possibility to develop the relationship with this place, with its people, of course. And if this is where the work could be carried, where the place is conducive for the work to be carried, then of course we will come back. We will come back as many times as we are welcome to come back. So this is how I see it.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.